All right, it's a new week and new things to unpack, new monsters in the closet. It's time to believe the hype with Legally Hype. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Doing good, and it seems like criminals is getting locked up left and right in these streets. Uh,
Locked up. They won't let me out. No, I'm just kidding.
Hopefully they don't let this guy out, man. So Trump's spot, Mar-a-Lago, got raided by the FBI, and what they find? What's going on?
Okay, so boom. His spot did get raided, but not how he would want us to think, right? So they did go to Mar-a-Lago. They had a warrant, which means they had probable cause, and a judge signed off and said, okay, it's cool for you to go up in there and look for what you're looking for.
Mhm.
So basically, they are looking for documents that apparently he took from the White House that he didn't have no business taking with him when he left. And they asked him for the documents time and time again, and he didn't give them back to him. So they went and got a warrant to go get them.
So, I mean, what'd they find? Like Bed Bath and Beyond coupons? I mean, like anything worth pinning them to the wall for?
So basically, they not really telling us exactly what they found. They're just like whatever they took was classified. It ain't really none of our business. Just know we got it back, and that's all I need to be worried about.
Now, is there any validation to the stories that I've heard? Like he actually, or his aides or whatever, actually tried to flush some of the paperwork in the toilet?
Okay, so boom. So they had some pictures going on the internet that show paper in the toilet and stuff like that. I mean, somebody had to know something, but who was taking the picture while you was doing that? Like, it don't really make sense. So they're saying that it was a habit that he had, that he did it, he did it multiple times or whatever the case may be. I don't know how real or fake it is, but I know when the feds come knocking on your door, they're not playing with you. And nobody has time for a political show to be playing with Trump right now. We have midterms, elections, a lot of stuff going on. The feds are not going to take that suicide if they didn't know it was something in there that they needed to go get, right? Like, you don't just run up in an ex-president's house. But on the flip side about it, it's kind of cool because for the first time in a long time, the right side is like, there's something wrong with the Justice Department. They didn't have to do him like that. Why y'all make this show and bring all these people with this, with these uniforms and stuff like that, embarrassing him? Yeah, it happens every day. So guess what? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how raggedy it really is.
Okay, well, whether it's election tampering, the hole in the ozone layer, he did something. He did something.
It's,
I mean, we're gonna figure it out. He did something.
it's gonna come
Well,
to the light.
there are a trio of people who are looking at time right now because the sentencing came down. Ahmad Arbery's killers. Two of them got sentenced to life. One got sentenced to pretty much life, and now there's even more charges coming.
Okay, so boom, yeah. So they were all the three dudes that murdered Ahmaud Arbery. They were all sentenced in a state court in Georgia, right? That's the jurisdiction that took the case first, and so they were tried, convicted, and sentenced. I think two of them, the brother, not the brother, the daddy and the son got life without, and then the person that told on them and got them all hemmed up, he ended up with life, right? So in Georgia, life is 30 years, which means after 30 years, he got a chance of parole. Them other two, they don't have no chance. They're going to be in there till the end of time. So after that, they had the federal court, the federal case, right? So with the federal case, I think they were charged with like kidnapping and violating Ahmaud Arbery's civil rights in some capacity. I don't remember exactly what. So they just got their sentence for that. But the thing is, they was trying to ask the judge, because they already knew they was going to get life. Irregardless, they was going to do life in prison. But they sitting here asking the judge, like, well, can we go to the feds? Like, because, the state, them folks in the state, they don't really like us. They know what we did. Like, we not safe in there. You know what I mean? Like, can you send us to the feds so we could do our time? Because rumor is it's a little easier to do your time in the feds, right? It's not as harsh and ghetto as the state prisons are. But Ahmaud Arbery's family was like, no, like, that's not cool. That's not right. They need to go ahead and do their time in the state prison. Like, what you mean it's not safe in there? You're not safe. You kill somebody.
Yeah, killers can't be choosers.
Exactly. So the judge wasn't having it, long story short. And he was like, no, because I guess the law is that whatever whatever conviction you get first, that's the time you're going to do first. So they're going to be in state prison with a bunch of the people that they already don't like.
Well, please drop the soap, guys. Last but not least, now this is a very tragic story. For anybody who's following social media at all, you may be seeing the like the horrific crash that was caused by a nurse that was driving recklessly, sped out of control, uh, took the lives of quite a few people, and it's not looking good for her at all.
Okay, so boom, absolutely not. So this one kind of hit close to home because I take this route quite a bit, right? I've been down this road a few times. So little Miss Nicole, I can't think of her last name, but she is a nurse out
Nicole
of
Linton.
Linton, thank you. She's a nurse out of Texas, right? She's a traveling nurse. And she was coming down La Brea way too fast. They said close to like 90 miles per hour. She ended up crashing into the traffic that was going down Slauson. And yeah, 6 people ended up dying. There was an unborn child that is now deceased. There's a 1-year-old that was deceased. And so the DA picked up the case and she's charged with, I think, about 6 counts of murder right now.
That's insane. And for what I understand, Nicole Linton has a very extensive bad driving record. And I know from state to state, it kind of varies as to how they play certain things. Because there's some places that operate on a point system. If you do too many infractions, all right, we're gonna hold your license for a couple years. And there's some places that are like, hey, whatever. What should be like the threshold to where you don't get to drive for a few years? Like, at what point should that gavel be dropped down? Is it after your third consecutive accident, your fourth one, or do you have to take a life?
Okay, so boom, this is the thing. So it is alleged that she has 13 prior accidents, right? And one of them, there was bodily injury. On the one hand, right, if I'm her defense attorney right now, the thing is, we don't know what her role was in those accidents, right? We don't know if she was a passenger. We don't know, if she was at fault in any of these, if she was the victim in any of these, right? So we don't know how long the span of these accidents were. Like some of us was kind of reckless in our younger days when we first started driving, right? So we don't know those facts yet. On the other hand, if I'm the prosecutor, I'm like, 13, like, are you just that unlucky? Like, I mean, I know 13 is a funny number, right? But are you just that unlucky of a driver that you just keep being involved in these accidents? Like, maybe you don't need to be on the road and you're negligent. At the same time, you think about the fact she is a traveling nurse, right? So she's on the road a lot more than maybe most people are, right? We know nurses, they've been going through it since the pandemic. You know what I mean? It's a shortage of them. They've been working these long hours. Plus, she traveling from state to state and stuff like that. So, you take those facts into consideration as well. So I think it just depends on what we're looking at, like what the circumstances are on why she even had these many infractions.
And it's such a tragic situation because, yeah, like you said, 6 people lost their lives, especially at the height of the pandemic. Nurses were being upheld as like, yo, you guys are the heroes of the pandemic. And it just sucks that, someone who was probably viewed as a hero at some point is now on the villain side of the tale. And I mean, at max, how much time do you think she possibly could be looking at?
Okay, so boom, she looking at 90 years to life
Oh
here
my
in,
God.
in California. Yeah, right. Because you have 6 murder charges, right? So that can give you a life sentence. Um, it's unfortunate, right? Because you think about on the one hand, like you said, nurses, we looked at them as superheroes, but the reality is that they are people too. And they have dealt with a lot, just like a lot of us. A lot of us have needed mental health, help or realized that we had issues that we probably didn't think we had before the pandemic. So, the argument for her is like she had mental health issues, which, could be very likely, if you think about you working like long hours and you traveling, that could be a lot on one person.
Mhm.
However, at the same time, like the judge is like, well, you're a nurse. So as a nurse, you should have knew like, what your situation was mentally and, how your medication was going to affect you in this, that, and the third, which is why she didn't get granted bail. Right. But I think there, on the other hand, when you look at it, it's like, okay, but we need to take into consideration what that means if somebody is mentally impaired or mentally ill. Does that mean that you have the same capacity to realize what state you are in, or that maybe you're going down this slippery slope? So I think this is going to be an interesting case because, again, we don't even know what happened. Like, was she intentional about going that fast? Was she like, did something happen? Did she have a seizure? we really don't have any facts. So I think it's going to be a very interesting case as it goes along. But she's definitely looking at a life sentence.
Yeah, I always operated in a headspace where I feel like, the amount of time someone should get or the sentencing for crimes should always fall in the hands of the families of the victims. And
Mm-hmm.
this is one of those rare situations where, damn, this is going to be a tough one because I can't even fathom or process how these people feel. And it's just bad on all sides, because here was a person who was helping, who is now hurting. And there are people who are hurting because of the hurt that was caused. And we just want to see everybody come home at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think I understand, when your family and your family member has been, hurt and harmed in this capacity, that with death there is finality, and you want someone to be held accountable. And that is very fair, and that is what you deserve, and my heart goes out to these families because, we lost babies and unborn babies, as well as, someone's brother, sister, loved one, whatever the case may be. At the same time, with our system of justice, we also have to look at what type of crimes do we really want to punish and send people to prison for, right? Are we handing out a sentence that is equal to the circumstances at hand, or are we just punitive in the fact that you did the time, you did the crime? So I think there's going to be a lot to look at in this case, but at the end of the day, the crime occurred, people lost their lives, and someone has to be held accountable for this.
Well, we will definitely keep you in the loop as to what's going on with this case and all these other things that are popping off across the country. Legally Hype, if people want to tap in with you during the week, because you be dropping some gems, popping in on this TV show and that TV show. I see you out here, girl. Where can they find you at?
You can find me. I am Legally Hype across all social media platforms. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all of the above. Oh, and legallyhype.com is finally up. So you go ahead and sign up so you can get announced when the merch drops, because that's coming
There
soon.
it is. Okay, so boom for all y'all, man. One
Okay,
time
so
for Legally Hype.
Thank
you so much,
Thank
Joe.
you.
We are the morning hustle.